Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the second half of the Justin Scott interviews. Welcome back.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me.
No, 100%. Obviously, last week's episode, brilliant. I just want you to apologise to the listeners for your, we didn't talk about anything. No, I'm only joking. No, it was fine. It was perfect. It was fine. No issues at all with that.
Well, the time goes so fast, bro. I feel like I said everything. Like I talked a lot, but didn't really say much, if that makes sense. Like I feel like I start rambling and then I didn't really fucking say anything that I meant to say.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's good. So okay, then go. What do you want to say? What is something that you want to get into?
Man, there's a lot, and I don't know that we could ever even pack it. I feel like I could chat with you forever, and I feel like we're gonna have to do this again very soon because there's so much. And I feel like right now we're just so for your listeners, I'm new to this. I have never done a podcast, and then I'm seeing Jack, I'm seeing you.
Yep.
And it's weird for me. I have so we were kind of in the previous episode talking about, I mentioned I was doing a podcast, but I don't do any of this. I don't have guests yet. It's myself alone with this headset rambling like a fucking lunatic. And so this is new to me. So like right now, I think I'm doing it right now. I'm just talking a lot without really fucking saying anything.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
What I guess for your listeners, I am normally not serious. This is weird for me doing any kind of interview.
You don't have to be serious. There's nothing about this that has to be serious. I like to have this as natural as possible for the guest because from my point of view on it, I think most people, if they feel easy talking to you and it's more like we're just two mates shooting the shit, you'll talk about things that you perhaps, if you think it's more of a professional setting or whatever, you'll be like, oh, I won't mention that in case, wherever. Whereas for me, there's nothing you can say that would offend me. Zero. There is nothing you could say that could offend me.
I'm not, same on my end.
I'm very thick-skinned, ex-military. I've heard it all before. When I was in the military, if you hadn't heard cunt by 7 o'clock in the morning, you knew that someone was having a bad day. Because it was bang, bang, bang. All the time. It didn't stop. Every swear word under the sun. Even just talking normal. Just talking to someone. Yeah. Be like, oh, you can't. Fuck, da. And you would. And I'll probably get someone say it. My old man might even ring me and say, oh, why'd you say the C word? I'd be like, because I'm a 34-year-old man, Dad, and I can say whatever I want.
Exactly. Oh, I feel the same way. There's nothing you can say that's going to offend me. And I guess when I say being serious, I just even telling my story and like, I'm not used to this type of content. I'm used to, I get a fucking silly idea in my head and I'm like, oh, I'm going to shoot this skit. And it's like super short form sketch comedies that I'm not like having to do this. And like, this is all on the fly for me. Normally all my shit's planned out. It's like, okay, here's the video idea. I'm just going to do it real quick on the video and then we're done. So this is just, I don't know, brother. It's different for me. It's different. I enjoy it. I want people to know what Largemouth Buck is about and why I do it. And I kind of started to touch on that in the last episode where it's like the big picture goal is just to recruit people to the great outdoors. Show them that there's a lighter side of hunting and fishing. So I get behind the camera and I'm just kind of a jackass and I don't know if you're kind of real familiar with it, but so the premise is, so you got, largemouth buck. I don't know if you can see, that's my hat. That's my logo. Yeah. It's a fish with an American flag in it and some antlers coming out of the fish. It's just a logo to represent hunting and fishing. I call it the buckfish. That kind of ties into the whole premise of largemouth buck. It's kind of like a big long story. I've got my brother-in-law. His name's Buck Fisher, and it's just fucking me in a mullet wig, acting like an idiot. So, but there's kind of like a hidden underlying thing with the whole story where it's like, I'm like, hey, this is my jackass brother-in-law. I don't know why he's such an idiot. He's always fucking ruining everything. He's posting these dumbass videos. And kind of me, Justin, I think that my brother-in-law is a dumbass. But then kind of the underlying thing is I think I'm better than him. He's just a stupid redneck. But then the more you watch it, you're like, well, you're fucking no better, right? Like, kind of the joke's on me. I think he's this idiot jackass, but I'm also just as fucking dumb and redneck as him. That's kind of the underlying storyline, if you will. That's kind of what I'm going for. So I want it to be like, I've got a new character that I plan on introducing soon. I just haven't, honestly, dude. If you knew how many ideas were floating around my brain of skits, I have like 100 that I need to record. I just don't have the time. Like it's all comes down to time for me. You know how hard it is, probably just to do the podcast. Just having a family, man. It's hard to juggle everything. You know what I mean? It's hard to juggle doing the videos and having a family, and because I could create content full time. And yeah, so I've also got another idea that I'd like to do in the near future. That's a kids show. I want to do a show about hunting and fishing for children. Obviously not funny, not the same kind of shit I'm doing now, because the shit I'm doing now, you wouldn't want your kids to watch a lot of it. It can get pretty raunchy, but like I told you, we chatted a little bit before the podcast, and I'm like, I kind of gotta watch what I say, because I don't, man, some of my ideas could get me canceled. Honestly, if I'm being fucking honest about it, I think it could get me like canceled. I don't know what canceled even means. You got to be big to get canceled. I'm not big, but I think it would. Some of the shit that I could talk about and some of the ideas I have could get me canceled before I even had a chance to make anything out of largemouth buck. So, yeah, I've got an idea for a kids show that I think would really. I think it would change hunting and fishing in America forever if I'm 100% honest with you. So I'm
Nice.
hoping eventually to grow my platform, to grow largemouth buck into something that is recognized by the outdoor industry. And then I want to reach out to certain people in the outdoor industry that are big and can help me and say, hey, I got here with my outdoor comedy, but I've got something that's bigger than this, that's a kid's show. And I think if I could get somebody to buy into that, that could be huge, and that would be my way of impacting and leaving my mark forever on the great outdoors and hunting and fishing and hunter recruitment. Sorry, dude, I'm rambling right now, but I want to say everything that's
It's
on my
good.
mind
It's
because
fine.
I know
Carry
our
on.
time is limit. I know our time is limited.
We can do a
Um,
third episode if you want to do a third episode.
yeah, man, if you're down with it, let's do it.
Yeah,
I
I'm
got the
free.
time.
It's
I'm free,
it's
so we may as well.
it's only 10 past 2 in England, so I've got another 6 hours till bed.
Oh, wow, it's 9:12 here, so
AM.
yeah, yeah.
We got all day.
Yeah, the sun's not even up. It's overcast. It's a beautiful day. I'm sitting in my truck because, like I said earlier, it's the most quiet spot that I have since I've got little kids at home. So yeah, I'm just trying to say everything that's on my mind real quick and get it out of the way. That way we can just get back to shooting the shit, man. Um, yeah, so that's my goal when it's all said and done. When I die, I want to have left some kind of mark on what shaped me into the man I am, and that's the great outdoors. I want to be able to help. The biggest issue we're facing here in the United States when it comes to the great outdoors is hunter recruitment. Nowadays, with social media and video games, all of our youth just wants to fucking sit inside,
Yeah.
and we got to find a way to get kids outside. I don't care if they hunt or fish. I just want them outside, hiking, camping, fucking riding their bicycle around the neighborhood. You got to get outside. You got to be active. And I want to get people the way that we save hunting and fishing, and make sure that it's around for hundreds and hundreds of more years to come is by recruiting new hunters and anglers. And so, yeah, that's my goal with all of largemouth buck is to just at the end of the day, it's all about hunter recruitment. And if I can get somebody to watch one of my stupid comedy sketches and go, oh, that hunting and fishing, I didn't know there was more to it than just going out and killing something. Once they can see that there's more to it, I feel like they're more likely to engage with it. They're more likely to maybe try it sometime. Maybe they start with fishing, maybe they move into small game hunting. But I also understand it's not for everybody. But if I can recruit even, 5 people in my lifetime, I think that's huge for the great outdoors. So, yeah, that's the goal, man, is to build it up, get it recognized, get the brand recognized, and then eventually do an outdoor show for children. I wanna I thought about trying to shoot the outdoor show for kids in my basement. I think I could do it with a green screen. I don't want to give away all the premise of it because I think as soon as someone hears this idea, they're going to take it from me and call it their own. Honestly, I'm like, maybe that's not a real fear that I should have, but it is a fear I have because I've seen a lot of people just copy my comedy bits that I do for hunting. So I'm worried if I come out with the first episode of this kids show, it'll get stolen by somebody way, way bigger than me and I'll be fucked. So
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's kind of who I am. That's my goal. That's what largemouth buck is. It's right now it's just mostly the comedy because I feel like that's what I'm really good at. But then eventually I want to turn it into more than that and be able to recruit kids to hunting and fishing. So
Talking about the bigger thing, fucking you. In the thing, we before we even started the first episode, obviously we were talking about government and obviously the problems with your hunting side of it, and we did touch on it in the first episode about in Washington. Do you think as well, like as well as government and the legislations that they're trying to bring in to sort of harm obviously the hunting and fishing? Do you think that the likes, well, the fact that Instagram and YouTube and all the rest of it are so big these days, and you've got so many of these animal rights activists, the vegans and all the rest of it, that are spewing out what I would say 90% of it is bullshit. Because they're like, I saw one yesterday actually. There was a reel, and it was the actual farmer. They'd stolen a picture from his website and said that, oh, these cows are in these conditions, they live in there 24/7, all the rest of it and that. And he then videoed, he said, look, this photo was taken from my window. And he was videoing the cattle going round on the milking, I don't know what it's called, like the milking roundabout, basically. And they walk on at their own leisure. They're on there for, I think he said 19 minutes. And then when they get back to the opening, they back out and they fuck off back out onto the pasture. And they come back, and he said they do that twice a day. Yeah. I think it's 9 minutes turnaround, actually, sorry. So they do it twice a day, and it's about 20 minutes total, 18 minutes total. And he was like, but, you've had these activists have just put, bang, this photo, this is how they live in these, ironed up things. And he's like, this is not, it couldn't be further from the truth. Yeah. Do you think that has, because people are glued to their phone, and I would say that I come across more, that sort of stuff where it's the issues from hunting rather than hunting, is a massive contributor to the conservation, especially in America, because all the goods that are sold to do with hunting, some of that tax goes into the conservation, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
But do you think it's because of that as well, you've got all the kids glued to their phones and they're seeing a lot of that content and they're like, oh, that's terrible. We shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope, man. It's weird because I also understand where all those people are coming from. Like, death is terrible, and it's sad, and it sucks. Like, it sucks for me. After I take an animal's life, after I shoot a deer, when I first come up on that deer, normally the first thing I do, sometimes I'll shoot some footage of myself with the animal with my camera or whatever. But normally before or after the camera is on, I normally pray over the animal, and I just am thankful for the kill. And it's like I almost ask that animal for forgiveness. Like, it's like I say, man, it's a slippery slope, because I get it. I have compassion and I feel for those animals, but at the same time, are we just going to wipe out every animal in the world that feeds off of other animals? Like, that's nature. That's what nature is. Unfortunately, nature is brutal. I don't know if you're familiar with the Instagram page Nature is Metal,
Yeah.
but bro, it's fucking brutal. And unfortunately, like when it comes to the factory farming, we've kind of done that to ourselves with our
Mm.
population. Like, we have to, I don't think we have to do it that way. I think there's a more sustainable way of doing it, but that's how we're doing it right now. And it takes a long time for changes to take place. So I I I would never side with like PETA and those crazy fuckers, the things they do, because they're over the top about it. But I also think the internet magnifies a lot of that,
Yeah.
right? Like, I think it's just like LGBTQ. There's not as many of these people in the world as what you think.
Mm.
It's just you see them on the internet, and so you feel like they're everywhere, but
Yeah.
they're not. I personally do not know one transgender person. I personally do not know one vegan. I personally do not know one person that sends their money to PETA monthly. But when I get on the internet, I feel like those people are fucking everywhere. I feel like they're my neighbors. I feel like they're everywhere, but they're not. It's just the internet magnifies shit and makes you feel like it's more prevalent than what it really is. And then that leads to us making decisions and voting. It's like the minority gets their way because the internet makes it seem like it's the majority, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like
I
we're
was
like we're
watching.
yeah, we're voting. I don't know. It's weird. It's a slippery slope, man. It's but at the same time, like I said, I feel for the people that like I what am I trying to say? I understand where those people are coming from. I think they're taking the wrong approach. Um I think they're taking the wrong approach in the way. I mean, it sucks. It does suck that the animals have to die, but that is nature. And if I can put, like I said earlier, if I can put an arrow through the animal and give it a nice, quick, clean death, and put good, healthy food in my freezer for my family to eat year round, I think that's the best way. Me personally, I think that's the best way, but I also understand hunting is not for everyone. And I'm sure, back in the day, all the Indian tribes, not everyone hunts in the tribe. You have certain people that hunt and certain people that don't, and that's okay. Like, I don't expect everyone to hunt, but I wish everyone was accepting of it, because it's not really as bad as everyone makes it out to be. It's really not. And I think people would. I wish I could take a vegan hunting with me. Honestly, I think they would see there's way more to it, and they'd see that how much respect I have for the animals. And yeah, it's fucking crazy too, though, the people you spoke about before that eat meat, that will go get a burger off the shelf and then they want to talk shit to hunters. That's crazy, but it takes all types to make the world go round, right? So it is what it is. And earlier I said I don't know one vegan. I take that back. I forgot, one of my sisters is a vegan, or she was for a while. I don't know if she still is, which is wild to me because she grew up seeing my dad and me hunt. And funny story real quick, back in the day when I first found out, I don't know that she's vegan anymore. I think she's eating eggs and stuff because I think she was feeling really shitty and had to get some animal protein in her diet. But back when I first found out she was vegan, so way back in the day, my dad shot a real nice buck, and there was a picture of him posing on the tailgate of his Ford Bronco SUV, and my little sister is with him. She's like 3, and she's in there in the picture with the dead deer. And when I found out that she was a vegan, I found that picture and I took a picture of it and I sent it to her. Like, hey, just a reminder, this is where you come from. Like, this is not who you are. Why are you being this way? So Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the type of dude I am, man. Send a picture of a a vegan with a dead deer to the vegan. So
Yeah. No, that's right. It's right. I mean, I've got a few people that I know that are vegan, or you know, vegetarian, pescatarian, stuff like that. But each and every one of them doesn't push it on anyone. They're not like,
yeah,
oh, why are you eating that? Why are
that's
you eating
good.
meat? Da da da. All the rest of it. They just do what they
Yeah,
do, and
yeah,
that's it. Like when we have family get together, like my stepbrother and his missus, they are. I think they've gone back to pescatarian now. They were vegetarian or vegan. No, they
yeah,
were vegetarian because they didn't want to give up eggs and cheese. But then now they've gone to pescatarian. And yeah, but they just, they when we have a family dinner, my stepmom just makes them a separate thing. Like we don't all have
yeah.
to eat that. She'll still make a roast dinner, and we'll have a big beef joint and gammon or whatever it is, and they just
Right.
sit and eat their lentil whatever. Do you know whatever?
Yep.
Whatever. I'm not digging at them. Just I don't know what vegans eat. Whatever that is. But yeah. So what about government anyway? We did chat about this off air slightly, or you
Uh,
mentioned it. What's your issue with government?
yeah. So, it seems like here in the U.S. that they're slowly trying to phase hunting and fishing out, and that's why my goal is to recruit hunters and anglers. So right now, fucking our president, man, he's trying to pass, he's trying to pass a law that would make using lead, the metal lead,
Yeah.
illegal in any way, shape, or form for outdoorsmen. So I don't know how familiar you are with this kind of stuff, but um, most, if not all, of our fishing lures have lead in them. All the weights that you use to, keep your lures down in the water are
Lad.
made of lead. Now, obviously, they also make some tungsten, some steel, but it's a lot more expensive. Um, the BBs that are in our shotgun shells that we shoot turkeys and squirrels and rabbits and the slugs in our deer shells, the slugs, most of these are lead. Now, there's also tungsten, there's also steel shot. I know, as far as I know, in the duck hunting world, I think lead has been frowned upon for years and years. They've always used a steel shot to hunt ducks, but they're trying to completely make it illegal. And what that's going to do is make it a lot harder for a lot of outdoorsmen to get outdoors because of the cost difference.
Hmm.
Um, Steel shot and tungsten are way more expensive. For example, I think like a pack of uh, 5 shotgun shells, if you were to buy them and it was lead, would be like $6, $6 here.
Yep.
Um, Tungsten, a 5 pack of tungsten shotgun shells, um, for like turkey loads, turkey hunting is going to be like, I think you can pay as much as like $50 or $60.
Oh wow.
So that's like $1 per shell compared to $10 per shell.
Yeah.
That is huge. I mean, there's guys that they're not going to be able to afford that, unfortunately, because the reason that a lot of people hunt and fish is to get food like you can get food at a cheaper price, essentially. Um, for me, a deer license to shoot a single deer, I think it's $34. So, you're getting a whole deer for your freezer for $34. That's a pretty good deal.
Just to put that
Plus,
into
obviously,
just to put that into perspective for people that are not, hunters and stuff like that. How long would a deer last you?
one deer, normally one deer for my family is probably 3 months. Now we don't. Every meal we eat is not venison. We probably eat venison, if I had to guess, on average, anywhere between 2 and 5 times a week. Probably. It's
Right.
it's normally gonna be dinner. Obviously, my wife and I both work, so the it's normally gonna be dinner. But yeah, I'd say 3 to 4. on average, I like to have 4 deer a year in the freezer is what I like to have. That's good for us. If we ate it as much as I'd like to eat it, I'd probably need somewhere like 6 or 8 deer.
Right.
So, but yeah, normally 4 deer a year, which isn't many at all, honestly. I mean, I know some guys that I've met guys that their family eats like 10 deer a year. So, four is not that many, but I think if you had to compare it, like you had that guy on before that hunted elk, I think elk, like one cow elk, one female elk, I think is like probably 3 or 4 female deer in comparison to how much meat you get. So a lot of guys can get one elk and that may last them all year having elk meat. So that's something that I really want to get into. I envy those guys that get to hunt elk out west because that's something that's kind of out of my price range to do right now. I've been really looking into it. I'd really like to go get a cow elk and have elk meat for the year. So that's in the future. I'd like to branch out and do that. That seems like it's just a great experience. Even if you don't get anything, just seeing the mountains of the Western United States is something I've never done. So, but yeah, man, I got totally off topic there. What you originally stated about the government. I think they want to slowly phase us out because they don't want people who are sustainable. I don't think they want us sustaining ourselves and harvesting our own meat. And I think that goes against the grain of what all of our governments want for us in the future. I'm sure it's the same way over there. It seems like they just want more and more control, more and more control.
Yeah.
The taxes in general to live are already fucking outrageous. So
Yeah.
it's like now you're going to try and I promise you, if they ever make hunting and fishing illegal, I will be an outlaw. I will break the law. It's something I will not give up till the day I die. 100%. And um, that's what's so great about what we do here and our hunting traditions in America. There's a lot of us who really mean it when we say, um, if you want to take our guns, you can do it over our dead body, because that's the only way you're getting my guns. And that's the only way you're going to take hunting and fishing away from me is killing me.
Yeah.
I'll do it till I die. And if it becomes illegal, I will become a fucking felon in a heartbeat. I promise you that.
Yeah, I mean, I've sort of flirted with the idea for a little while now of moving to America just because of
Really?
the hunting and fishing. Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's something I want. I mean, fishing maybe not so much, but hunting definitely. I mean, but like I said to you earlier, like out here in the UK, like the hunting, or at least the hunting for the sort of the majority when people say they're going hunting on a weekend, it's sort of pheasants and ducks and stuff like that. But they're captive birds basically. Do you know what I mean? They're bred and they're matured within a sort of enclosure,
Really?
ish enclosed space, yeah, and then they're sort of released out. So when you go to a shoot, it for me it isn't hunting, because the term hunting
I
is that
agree.
you're tracking the animal, it's a wild animal, whereas these are not so much. This is more.
Yeah.
This is more like the goose shoots that I see, where they set the fake birds up, and then they're all down below, shooting the shit, cooking fucking bacon, whatever, and they just pop up, bang. For me, it's the same sort of thing. I'm just putting it into thingy for you. It's the same thing. Like, it's just a load of lads get together on the weekend. They all walk across, like the guns will walk across. There'll be like 12 of them or whatever in a line. Then they have beaters in the woods, and they'll sweep across left to right, right to left, whatever it is, or push through, whatever, and make noise. So the birds will scatter, fly out, and as they fly overhead, bang, bang, you get your shots off each one. And then obviously there'll be like 10 birds or however many birds fly over, and you obviously try and take them all out. But it's not hunting as you would say hunting when you're going off for the weekend and you're camping out in the sticks, and you've got to track the animal and follow it all the way. It's not the same as that.
No, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, because they do that here as well. They actually call that a put and take.
Right.
So you put the birds and then you take the birds.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not really my style, but I support their right to do that 100%. I mean,
I think that's
I don't.
that's at the sort of limit of what you can do in this country. There is deer hunting. I know there is, but I mean, I'm not submerged in this world at all. But it's like more up north, and it's very expensive. I mean, I know even what my dad does, like the pheasant hunting and stuff like that. That is thousands of pounds to do that. It's not like a cheap sport.
Yeah. So let me ask.
Go on.
Let me ask. Do you guys have public land?
Yeah.
Like, do you have land that just any? So what? What makes the deer hunting? What makes the deer hunting expensive? Is it the tag? Is it the fact that it's private property and you have to pay that person to come on their land?
Yeah, it's mainly private property. So you've got to.
So you don't have public lands like we have that you can just go out and shoot animals, right?
No,
shoot wild game.
You can't shoot on public land because we don't have the gun laws that you have. We don't. You can't just walk around with a gun.
Okay.
Like if I was to walk out of my house here now with a rifle or any firearm of any thingy, the whole neighbourhood would be calling the police, and SO19 would be, armed response would be sent here to. The fuck are you doing with that? I'd get put in prison.
If not shot.
Oh yeah. You can't just mince around with a gun here. So you've got to have it all. Like my dad's got his shotgun licenses and all that, so he had to have a gun cabinet fitted, in his house, and then it had to come out there to inspect it, and then I've got to check all the certificates and everything's got to be all correct, and they can spot check, and all the guns that are supposed to be registered to him have all got to be within this locker, and it's really, really strict, and yeah, you can't just knock about with weapons. Nowhere near.
Yeah. Wow. See, that's so. How about a bow? How about a bow and arrow? But is it the same thing? Like there's just not public ground to hunt? You can't. Bow and arrow.
Again, you couldn't just. I would be surprised if I could walk from here to the other end of my village with a bow and arrow and not have the police come and be like,
"Oh my gosh,
what are you up to, fella?
You got to get the fuck out of there, bro. You got to get the fuck out of there.
That's all we
know.
Come
over here. We will take you with open arms, my man. That's fucked. That's fucked. Hey, I live in town, okay? I don't live out in the sticks. I don't live out in the boonies. I live in town, and I shoot my bow in my backyard.
Right. No, you wouldn't be able to do that here. No.
Oh, my gosh.
Because for the majority of people, I mean, I might be wrong, and some people probably do, like in the smaller villages and stuff, but the majority of houses around where I live and in the UK in general, because we're such a small country, the whole of the UK is only 1/5 of Texas.
Yeah.
So you've got to think you've got fucking multiple more, much more space than we have. And most gardens back onto other gardens. So you couldn't be just shooting an arrow because if you miss, you could be going through a fucking 5-year-old on the other side.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So I guess
everything, like if you wanted to go archery, you'd have to go to like an archery range. There is a shooting range near me, and my grand's friend, he goes up there. We go up there sometimes and shoot like 2-2 and stuff like that, but that again is like super, like they get all their checks done and all the rest of it. And again, although he's licensed up to the gills, he's got handguns and all the rest. He can't just walk around with one, like concealed or otherwise.
I mean, it's kind of. It's similar here in the fact that I'm not just going to go walking down the street with a shotgun. Obviously, that's a no. And also,
but if you were to shoot, if I was to shoot, like if he was to just shoot in his back garden, police would be called. Or if someone was, if he was
a gun, yeah. So they frown upon doing that here, like in town. But if you go out, like I got a buddy that's, 3 minutes. He lives 3 minutes away from me. And he's kind of right on the outskirts of town. I could go out there right now and shoot my gun. And I mean, somebody might call the police, but they're just going to come and be like, "Oh, you guys are just shooting." And we'll be like, "Yeah, we're shooting." Right. Be like, cool.
It would be assumed if there was a gun, like if I went, to my dad's or whatever, we went out to, one of the farmers that he knows, if we went out to their thing, if we started shooting and there was gunshots heard, I would say that you would get armed response.
Oh man.
I mean,
And-
we don't
but-
have
and
we
they-
don't
and
have
they tell
police. Most police all police, I believe, in America, they all carry firearms, don't they? Or for the majority.
Yeah, yeah. for
Whereas
sure.
here they don't. Your standard beat police, they only have taser and pepper spray
Oh.
and a baton. So if there was gunshots heard, it would be a serious that you can't just
Would
you
that-
can't just pop off. No way.
So when they came out, they wouldn't be coming out to say, "Hey, we're just checking you." They'd be coming out to say, "Hey, no more."
Yeah, 100% with rifles.
Oh wow.
With submachine guns.
So you probably hearing me cry about not being able to use lead. You're like, "You fucking little motherfucker!" Like, hey, crybaby American, right? Man, that's crazy to me. That I mean, it's crazy to me, but it's not. Like, I understand everywhere is not like America, and that's why America is so special. And but that's why.
Can I just
We
jump
have to
in
fucking-
quickly? Because I know that you can't see the time. We've only got a minute left on this episode before it cuts out.
Okay.
So do you
Okay.
want to tell everyone your socials again, and then we'll go into a third episode?
Yeah, man. Social, Instagram, largemouth.buck, YouTube, largemouth buck. Make sure you get over to the YouTube and subscribe. I'm trying to grow that YouTube. Largemouth buck on TikTok and Facebook.
Brilliant. Well, again, thank you very much for giving me a second episode, and we shall see you next week, Justin.
Yeah, man. Sounds good. See you then.
Thank you for listening, everybody.